Hello, today we're going to do a review of a book that I've seen in the store called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne, the author of The Hunger Games. So I've already read The Hunger Games, the first 3 novels that she did, and I really liked those. Those were a while ago. If you have not read the Hunger Games series, the first 3, with Katniss as the main character, and she has like Peeta, the guy who, she likes, as well as Gale, the other guy that she likes. Those are really, probably, I think, the best and most well-known books by Suzanne Collins. And also they have the well-known movies. So if you haven't read the Hunger Games series yet, read that before you read this one, probably, because those are better than this one. And so if you don't like this one, at least you read the 3 that are really good. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and when it comes to those 3 Hunger Games, the second book is the one that I like the best. And the second movie is the one that I like the best because they really get into it and they really have a lot of interesting characters in the second book, and it's just where a lot of fun stuff happens in that book. Shout out to the first 3 Hunger Games. This book is about kind of like President Snow. So in the first 3 books that she wrote on the Hunger Games, President Snow is not a very nice person. He's the president who oversees the Hunger Games. And so it's about some kids that are put in an arena and they have to fight to the death and only one survives. This is about his childhood when he is young, kind of a teenager type kid. And I don't know if he's 20 or what he is, but he's young. And he's living with his sister, his older sister named Tigress, who I think shows up as one of the kind of interesting characters in the next 3 books, if you're going time-wise. And then he's got his grandma, who is living with him. So those are some people that are living with him. And then also he goes to school, to a university, and you get to, see or learn about the people he's going to school with. And I think one of the most interesting things is that you're trying to figure out if he's a good person or not in this book and at this time period in his life, because he kind of goes back and forth on, okay, he seems like he's a decent person, or okay, those thoughts that he had, weren't like what I would think about, or they were kind of like self-centered thoughts type stuff. So you're trying to figure out, okay, is he a good person? And by the end of this book, what will he be like? Will he still be a good person? Will his character comes out in the next 3 books when he's kind of like a tyrant president? Or what will happen? So it's kind of like a guessing thing as to why he became the person that he is in the next 3 books. It's kind of like, okay, when will you kind of figure out, what happened? What was the trigger? What happened to where he got to that point? Because you're kind of, you're wondering that throughout the book. So in that way, it's kind of like a slight mystery feel. And also some of the Hunger Games aspects are explained, how they came up with the different things that they're doing in the Hunger Games, why they do it, different things like that. So it's an interesting book. It was a good read. Was it as good as the other 3 Hunger Games? No, not really by a long shot. I think the fact that, Katniss is the main character in the other 3 books, and she's a very likable character. And she's got the romance, that's between the 2 different guys, and they're actually really cute, nice guys feel in the books. I, of course, I think liked Peeta more. I think in the books, Gale was more of an attractive, guy character, and in the imagination than in the movies. In the movies, definitely PETA was a winner, as far as I thought. So there is a bit of romance in this, and the title has to do, it's kind of like a mystery for the title too, somewhat, that you get a bit more information throughout the book, and then by the end you're like kind of understanding the title a little bit more too. So in some ways she's a kind of a poetic-y type writer, especially because she does have like some ballads in there, like songs and stuff like that, little poem type things, which she did in the other books too, but I don't quite as remember quite as much as, and you know, throughout this book there was quite a bit. So it's a good book, it's a good read. If you read The Hunger Games, you're probably going to want to read this. You can probably find it on eBay or Amazon and get it like used, secondhand, or you can try to get it at your library. Some libraries are now doing the thing where you can read stuff online. I personally just like to have a book and turn off all the electronics before bed and have a book to actually turn the pages. So that's why I get the book versions, hard copy versions. So if you read The Hunger Games, you're probably going to like this, but not as much as the other three. If you haven't read the Hunger Games series, I would suggest you start with the 3 that she wrote first. And then if you decide that you want to, you know, take this upon yourself. Is there anything else that I want to say about it? Changing it at all? I don't know. I think that, you know, she had a purpose for writing this book. And maybe she wanted to give some backstory to the Hunger Games. Maybe she wanted to give more personal and vulnerable aspects to one of the main mean characters in the other books. Like, it was like a tyrant type character, you know, in the other books, and just didn't have any niceness about him, you know. And in this book, you see some of his youth, some of his aspects of love, you know, that he had for different people, you know, to the point where he could love different people. I think like, honestly, he's not, even though he is kind of loving, like, he's very self-centered at the end of the day. And I think that it also helps you on kind of like a bigger scheme, like not just about the Hunger Games book, but just to remember that, you know, you can be nice to somebody, but at the end of the day, you know, there's certain people who are maybe going to take advantage of you, or maybe you give them your love, but they're not really going to give you the love that you want back because they're just not capable maybe of, you know, a lot of altruism, or like, you know, stuff where they're just doing stuff purely for being nice to somebody. You know, like, there's some motivations throughout this book that are kind of like leading the young Cornelius Snow to do some of the things that he does, like, you know, public image, power, looking good, keeping friends, because, you know, friends do things for you and can help you in different aspects. So, yeah, you kind of remind yourself that, yeah, there's people like this in the world who are out there with different motivations for what they're doing. So, yeah, it gets you to think about that. It gets you to think about things from kind of an interesting character's point of view. And, I mean, some of the other characters are interesting within the book. His love character is, you know, probably the second main character, the love interest, and she's a pretty interesting character and likable character, so that kind of is nice to read. So yeah, this has already been a little bit of a long review, But if you get a chance, pick it up. This one I might give to somebody else to read for after me in the family, so that they can read it. So if you do get it and you buy your own copy, you could give it to somebody else and say, hey, I know you read The Hunger Games. Maybe you want to read this one too. So hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.